the 6 steps you need to follow to get $50,000 in your account with the 8 per day play. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact steps you need to take, the tools needed, and how you can start doing this literally today. So before we get started with the tools, step number 1 you're going to need is freedomleads.io. That's where we're going to get the leads that fund this entire project. Tool number 2 is going to be a CRM. If you do not have a CRM and you cannot afford a CRM, you can use Google Sheets for free, and I have an example that I will show you up here. Or if you guys want to use the same CRM we use, it's linked down below. You get a free trial for that. You need a phone. You can use your cell phone. If you do not have a CRM that has a phone built into it, e-signature platform, you can use Dotloop or DocuSign if you do not have the CRM, and a purchase and sales agreement, which is inside the school community. So the only thing that you need to spend money on in this entire play is leads. Everything else you can do for free. So without further ado, let's dive into the exact click-by-click, step-by-step game plan on how to rack up to 50K in your account with the 8 per day play. Right here is a quick little example. One of the guys in the community who was able to lock up a most likely 6-figure novation. This is not closed yet, but it will be going live shortly on the MLS, and you can do obviously novations, cash deals, seller financing, whatever works best for the seller based on the seller's condition and asking price. So let's dive into it. Step numero uno. Step number 1, you need to claim the leads. Now, what does that look like? When you go to freedomleads.io, this is what your account's going to look like. So you click on Browse Leads. That's going to pull up all leads that are available. You can then scroll here. You can see there's 2,578 current leads available for you to redeem. Anytime you redeem a lead, it is yours and yours only. Nobody else can redeem it. So what you're going to do is in the morning, you're going to sit down and find 8 good-looking leads. Now, what does a good-looking lead look like? Let's look through it. You can click on a lead. You can see what's going on. You can see the conversation right here. There we go. So you can see that one. Back to leads. And what you want to do is you want to try and find people that have reasons to sell right there. They're asking for 800K. Come down to this one in Jacksonville, Florida. 400,000 cash. You pay all closing costs and it's yours. I'm not ready to sell maybe in a year or two. That one I'm going to pass on because they said they're not ready to sell. Some of these leads, again, are not great, and that's okay because you don't have to redeem it until you decide you want to redeem it. So you're going to sit on Freedom Leads, and you're going to scroll through and find conversations of sellers that want to sell their property. This property is an example of one that I might redeem. You can see right here, the estimated property value is $340,000. Estimated equity is $200,000. It's been an owner for 15 years, 40% loan to value, and they want $350,000, and they also have a half-acre lot next to it. So they're already asking about market value, including a lot next door. So the question is, can you close the gap, get a discount, get the lot included, and then get a contract signed? So all you have to do is be clicking through the leads till you find a seller that seems motivated based on the conversation, and then you redeem the lead. Once you redeem the lead, that is step number 1. You're going to move over to step number 2. Step number 2, you're going to add your leads to your CRM. If you have the CRM link down below, you should know how to do that. If you do not have the CRM and you cannot afford a CRM, you can use Google Sheets. This is a super basic example of what this could look like. So over here, you can see I have the name. These are all just made up. So we have the name, phone number, email, the address of their property, their asking price, which you get from the conversations, the timeline, condition, and motivation. This is what you're going to get once you get on the phone with the seller. That is part of part 3. But you're going to be able to get all this information. And then the status, this is where you're going to track the status of the lead in your pipeline. So we're going to come back over to here, step number 2. So the second you redeem a lead, you're going to push it to the CRM. And when you push it to the CRM, you will have the contact information, address, and asking price. The rest of the information you need to gather by being on the phone with the seller. Step number 3, you're going to get the lead on the phone. We call this the 7 days of hell cadence. This is where you're going to do 2 to 3 times per day a triple dial, SMS, and a voicemail. Now, a triple dial is where you call them and let it ring. If they do not answer, call back immediately. If they do not answer, call back immediately. That's a triple dial. If they do not answer after 3 dials, leave a voicemail and send a text. You're going to do that 2 to 3 times per day per lead until you get them on the phone. The only purpose of this is get them on the phone. You do not have to triple dial them if you get them on the phone after the first phone call. So the purpose of step 3 is get the lead on the phone. Once you're on the phone with them, you want to use the script that's inside the school community, and you want to get the 4 pillars, which are price, timeline, condition, and motivation. So the price is how much they want. The timeline, when would they like to sell? Would they like to sell ASAP? Are they flexible? Would they like to sell in the next 2 to 3 months, etc.? The condition, have the seller walk you through the property. What's the condition of the home? When were the kitchens and bathrooms last updated? How's the condition of the roof, etc.? Because you're going to use what the seller tells you to be able to estimate your rehab cost. So when you're on the phone, get the asking price, timeline, condition, and then last one is motivation. The motivation is why do they want to sell? Are they looking to move? Did they inherit it from their mother? Are they relocating? Are they a tired landlord? Are they going through divorce? Are they behind 4 payments and they're getting foreclosed on, etc.? You're going to ask these questions. You're going to figure out why they're looking to sell when you're on the phone with the seller. Then we're going to move on to step number 4. Make the offer to every single lead. When you're on the phone with them, you're going to have the condition, which gives you enough information to then go run your comps on the property. If you're not sure how to run comps, I've got other videos on those, so go check those out. You're going to run your math, and you're going to offer them ARV times 0.7 minus repairs minus your fee, which equals your offer. So if, for example, your ARV is $300,000, you would do $300,000 times 0.7 minus $50,000 in repairs minus a $10,000 fee equals a max offer of $150,000. If you would like your assignment fee to be more than $10,000, you need to get it for less than $150,000. If you'd like to make $20,000, it needs to be $140,000. If you'd like to be $30,000, it needs to be $130,000, etc. Aim for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to $20,000 assignment fees on average. And as you're talking to these leads, you need to be managing the statuses of the lead. So status examples are new, meaning you just claimed the lead and you have not reached out to them, you have not spoken to them. Follow-up, you've spoken to them and then you booked another time to get back on the phone with them. So maybe they had to get off the phone quickly, maybe they were driving, maybe they had to talk to their spouse or whatever it is, but there's a reason to give them a call back. So that is follow-up, and then if it is follow-up, I would put call back on 8-7, right? Or whatever the day or time is that you and the seller agree to. No answer, meaning you did the triple dial voicemail text message and they did not get back to you. So that means you need to do that again the next day. If you made the offer, that means you should follow up with them based on what the conversation was. So if you made the offer and they said, let me confirm with my spouse, let me talk to my attorney, let me do this, let me do that, you're going to schedule a time to get back on the phone with them to review the offer that you made to see if they're willing to sign. You can change it to contract sent, meaning you two agreed to a price and you sent the contract, but it's not signed yet. Once they signed, you can just come over here and you can do contract signed. So as you're working these leads, you need to be updating your pipeline statuses of the leads so you know what's going on. Step number 5, you need to sign the contract and submit the contract to the disposition team. Anytime you get a contract signed, you can just quickly go into the school community and hit submit to dispo. Our team will then take a look at it, underwrite it, make sure the deal looks good. Assuming it does, we'll send you paperwork and we will get the property sold for you. Step number 5 is super easy. Step number 6 is the most important step. This is where we're going to build up to the $50,000 in your account, because let's assume that you make $10,000 per deal. That means you need to close 5 deals. So you need to be doing the 8 per day play until you have that amount. So Eric, what's step number 6? Step number 6 is rinse and repeat every single week until you have $50,000 in your account. That is it. That is the play. That is how simple this process is. The issue is people don't want to do the work. All you have to do is log on to Freedom Leads, claim the leads, put the leads in your CRM, get the leads on the phone. Once you're on the phone with them, make the offer to every single lead. Once you've made the offer, you're then going to get the contract signed and submitted to dispo. And you rinse and repeat this day in, day out, week in, week out until you have $50,000 cash in your account. That is all you have to do. Do not overcomplicate this business. Do not overcomplicate this process. It is 6 steps that you do every single day until you have $50,000 cash in your account. You don't have to cold call. You don't have to pull lists. You don't have to skip trace. You don't have to drive for dollars. You don't have to do all these crazy other lead generation tactics. These sellers raise their hand and said, I want to sell my property. So all you need to do is get them on the phone, understand their situation, understand the condition of the property, figure out what their timeline is, and then make a reasonable offer to help them out of whatever situation they're in. Once you've done that, sign the contract, submit to dispo, and on to the next.